Here on Outside the Box Reviews, I mostly don't give in and pay the scalpers. Mostly. Today on Outside the Box Reviews, we're taking a look at the NECA Aliens Rebecca Jordan figure, better known to us fans as Newt. And this figure is the San Diego Comic-Con International, whatever the official name is, exclusive Aliens figure from NECA. It was revealed back on Alien Day earlier this year, and me and everybody else I know that collects this line got really freaking excited that we were finally getting this key piece to our Aliens collection. Come to find out, she was going to be a Comic-Con exclusive, and on top of that, Comic-Con exclusives from NECA, and it seems like several other companies, but not all, have been super restrictive this year, and I don't know if it's a licensing thing or if it's Comic-Con mandate or something, but unlike previous years, NECA was not able to sell their figures online or in Toys R Us or make them available to a mass audience. So your only ways to get the exclusives this year were to either go to Comic-Con and pick them up, or to hit eBay and fork over some cash. And while I have yet to do that for this year's Predator exclusive, I didn't do it for their other Ninja Turtles stuff, as cool as that was. I absolutely had to have this Newt figure, so I went for it. And NECA has talked about maybe trying to get this figure released to the mass public in different ways, but so far there hasn't been any real news on that front, so I'd rather be safe than sorry, because like I said, I had to have this piece. So let's take a closer look. Newt's first accessory is one we've seen before. It's a little canister lamp that we first got with Bishop. They did a nice job on this. Same thing we had before. We have the clear translucent section here with the light visible. We have the end that would actually shine light out. We have a rubberized strap with the buckles detailed on there. Nice and flexible, and you can put it over the character's shoulder or something like that. And simple accessory, but effective. Newt's right hand has a bigger gripping pose than the left, and I still don't think she could really hold this comfortably without stretching out the hand. So I think the best way to have her hold this would be just to loop the strap through her hand and have her hold it a little more loosely. So not really an accessory she could use all that easily, but it is a nice thing to pair with her. We get her little second grade citizenship award, which is where Ripley finds her real name from when it's laying in the trash inside the air vents in the colony. So we have a picture of the actual actress there, Carrie Henn. We have the little plaque at the bottom. This is on translucent or pretty much transparent plastic. You have a little bend there at the bottom so it will stand upright. Decent little accessory. Not something I was super excited to get, but it makes sense with the character. We get Newt's doll, Casey. So this is just supposed to be the hollow doll head. It's not hollow on the bottom. It's hard to expect it to be with it being so tiny. But actually is really nicely detailed. The eyes are just painted black instead of being hollow as well. But the hair has some good paint detail on it, making it look like it's very dirty and messed up. And the face looks like a little doll's face. For such a tiny accessory, it's really nicely done, actually. And in that wider gripping hand, Newt can actually grab onto the doll's head, which is nice. And then last but not least, an accessory that I think we were expecting to get much sooner in this line, an actual Marine helmet. It's not specified as to which Marine. I honestly don't remember which Marine in the film had this helmet that was given to Newt, or if that's ever even really shown. But basic detail in here, we have the flap there on the back, the nice camo pattern, the camera on the side, little microphone here, all the nice little leather detailing and bolts throughout it. Looks really good. We have the little loop here at the bottom so you can kind of simulate the bottom latch being fastened, or you could just have them dangling loose. And one thing you'll notice with this helmet is they've actually sculpted the inside of it specifically to match Newt's hair. So there's actually kind of an imprint of her hair, so it will sit on there and kind of grip her head, which I think is a great touch, because I think if it was just loose, it would wobble around and be a horrible display piece. But I believe we thought we were getting these with our initial Marines, that they were going to come with removable helmets and we could have them in either look. So it's kind of funny that it took us this long to get just a plain old Marine helmet. I think the head sculpt NECA's done on this figure is absolutely fantastic. It really captures Carrie Henn and the kind of expressions she had through a lot of the movie, the kind of like, oh crap, we're all doomed, but kind of resigned to that fate look. I don't know, I really like it. They didn't go overboard with making it dirty, but there definitely is a little bit of dirt on there. The eyebrows are pretty nicely painted. The eyes are well done. Everything looks really good. The hair is a soft rubberized piece, so it is pretty loose on there, but they did some great detail. The hair looks really stringy, and all the different colors they mix in here, the browns and the blacks and everything in here to make it look like dirty, stringy hair is just phenomenally well done. It splits over here over top of her shoulders, and really it's not something that's going to hinder her moving her head with articulation. It really allows for a lot of movement. She has her overalls with the one side flipped down. This is all kind of one piece, so it's not like you could peel up this flap or anything. Her undershirt is very, very dirty as well. We have the stitching around the collar. The brass detailing here on the overall buckle is pretty nice. There is some plastic in here where in real life this would be hollow, but making that open would make this incredibly weak because this is that soft rubberized material and it does kind of move. So I totally understand why that's not 100% authentic. But all the stitching through here is really nicely done. The dry brushing of the grime on there looks great. Flip around to the back, we do have the strap coming off the side, which is also one part with everything else. It doesn't come up or anything, but just really, really nicely done. I definitely dig the attention to detail they put into these overalls. The sleeves are a little baggier. We can see these holes sculpted in them with the skin tone beneath them. Just phenomenal. We get some more holes here on her lower arm on this side, the kind of cuffs of her undershirt there, and then her hands, I already mentioned the one is sculpted pretty open. The other one is a little more closed, both equally very dirty. Going down the figure, the denim pattern continues down her legs, more dirt, more great wrinkle sculpt. Her knees are ripped open here on the overalls, and then we have them kind of split on this one side and more closed up on the other. You can see her sock and part of her leg there on her right, and then her tennis shoes, not nearly as cool as Ripley's space age shoes, but very, very nicely sculpted and painted here. One thing with this figure, we do not get peg holes at the bottom of the feet, which makes sense. The feet are so tiny, I think it'd be really hard to accommodate a peg hole, but just be forewarned that she doesn't come with them. And this pant leg here is a little bit rubberized too, so that's not going to impede articulation or anything, which is phenomenal. I was severely impressed with the articulation NECA crammed into this figure. You do have to remember this is a much smaller body than we're used to getting from NECA, and I think the last time they made anything this small was probably in the BioShock line, and those weren't really super articulated from what I remember. But Newt actually has two joints in her neck. She has one at the base of her head and one at the actual base of the neck. So she could look very far down, very, very far up. She could rotate her head side to side. As I already mentioned, that hair is not much of a hindrance. She could move her head side to side really well. Just a great range of motion out of the neck on this figure, and not something I was really expecting. The arms are on pin socket joints, so they'll go forward and back as well as out to the side. They don't go out full 90 degrees, maybe a little more than 45, but still pretty good for this character. You can bend at the elbow, not quite 90 degrees, but decent bend there, and you could rotate at the elbow as well. The hands appear to just be swivel joints. There's no ball joint in them to move them up and down. There is a mid-torso joint here, so you have the soft rubberized overall, so she kind of could just move her upper torso within those overalls. She can go pretty far forward, pretty far back. You can lean side to side as well as rotate. It's gonna look a little funny if you rotate too much because she's kind of coming out of her overalls if you do that. But I think they pulled off the look pretty darn well. The legs are on pin socket joints, so they will go forward, back, as well as out to the side. Out to the side's a little stiff. You could also rotate there at the upper leg. As I mentioned with a lot of these current NECA figures, she has the diaper effect going on here with the soft rubber of the overalls, really allowing you to get those legs to move into extreme positions. She has a decent bend at the knee, a little shy of 90 degrees. She also rotates at the knee. And then we have a very, very nice ball joint there at the ankle. For a size comparison, here's Newt next to Hicks and Bishop, two of the other sort of survivors of this film. And she looks to be in really good scale. She stands about chest level on each of them. I think that looks pretty darn good. And then here she is next to our aliens Xenomorph and a Facehugger. And it's terrifying to see how much Xenomorph towers over her. And then the comparison that matters most and the posing that matters most. Yeah, you could get Ripley holding this Newt just like at the end of the film. That's phenomenal. I think I need to work on the posing a little bit more to get it quite right. It feels like Ripley's actually going to be the problem. Her elbow may not bend quite enough to let her really look like she's holding Newt. But I think with some playing around and some creativity, you could really capture this scene from the end of the film. And that's absolutely fantastic. I'm sure I've probably used awesome, amazing, some other version of those words way too many times in this review, but I am so thoroughly impressed with what NECA did with this figure. Honestly, my biggest complaint is that more people can't have her. It's a pretty limited figure, and unfortunately I know there's a lot of people who are going to want her that either can't justify the price she's going for, or just won't be able to find one to add to their collection. I really hope NECA gets this figure out to people in some other form, whether she comes with different different accessories or there's something changed up to make her different from this release so that this can still remain the exclusive bit. But the body NECA's created for this figure is honestly astounding unto itself. The articulation is great for such a tiny figure. The detailing's great. She came with some pretty solid accessories. I couldn't be happier with this purchase. So Newt gets an extremely high recommend, and it just sucks that I know somebody's really pissed that I'm recommending this figure and they're not able to get one. So keep your fingers crossed that NECA works some miracle. They've done it in the past. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also check me out on Facebook, link below. And until next time, the review's over, alright? Can I go now?